All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started in just a couple seconds here. We want to give everyone a chance to get logged in. We got quite a few people that are getting logged in and settled, so we'll start in about 15 seconds here. Thank you. Okay, let's just get this started here. We still got quite a few people logging in, but I want to try and start on time so we can end on time as well. So hello everyone, my name is Sean Price and I'm the Vice President of Sales for Elevate and Elm Street Technology. And I wanted to thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to attend our Encore Social Media Bootcamp webinar today. And the webinar is brought to you by Elevate, and it's the first true productivity platform in real estate for brokers, agents, and teams. And before I get too far into it, I want to just confirm real quick that our technology is working correctly. So if you could go ahead and just type yes if you can hear me okay and you can see the Elevate slide. Just want to again make sure the technology is working well. So I'm going to take just a second. Go ahead and type it into that chat section there. Okay. Looks like we are good to go. Awesome. All right. So there's a couple reasons to stick around today. Aside from learning best practices on social media, we're also going to be giving away an Amazon Fire tablet. So we're going to have a random drawing at the end of the Q&A section, at the end of the presentation, and we'll have a random drawing of those that are still attending to win an Amazon Fire tablet. I'll also let you know at that time how to get a copy of this. So it'll be a video that you can actually just save and review at any time, really. So let's get into the most uncomfortable part of the presentation for me. That's where I get to talk about myself and why it is that I'm actually conducting this webinar. And I'll be turning on this webcam from time to time here as well. So a little bit of background about me. I used to run the inside sales broker division at Realtor.com for a little over a decade. I was very involved with the engineers and the products that we were building and in the acquisitions that we had during that time period. And I left to start my own lead management company where I was managing leads for agents, teams, and brokers from just about every vendor you could think of. I did a lot of consulting work for a lot of the lead vendors as well. And, you know, my team and I, we were managing tens of thousands of leads on a monthly basis before getting acquired by Elevate and Elm Street Technology and being brought on as their vice president of sales. So I've had a lot of history and background in real estate marketing, especially when it comes to lead generation, lead management, and online optimizing your online presence. So again, that's just a little background on me, why I'm actually conducting this. And now let's go over what we're going to basically accomplish for the webinar today. So what we want to accomplish is basically an overall education on what exactly social media is. We're going to go over best practices of how to leverage that social media. And then we'll also review some options for automating it. So for those of you that just don't have the time in your day to do what's required to really optimize your online presence, we're going to go over some options to automate all of that. So it's one less thing that you have to deal with on in your busy schedule here. So let's start with our first survey here, and this will just give me a better idea of the audience that I'm speaking to. So if you could, let me know basically where you stand in regards to your knowledge of social media. Are you a guru? You basically know what you're doing. You're not even sure what social media is. Go ahead and just take a second and click on that poll so that I can get a better idea of the type of audience that we have here. It'll basically just help me tailor the presentation accordingly, making sure that we're not going too basic or not going too high level. And also on the flip side, make sure we're not overcomplicating it either. So go ahead and click on that. So, okay, it's about what I expected. Most of you are newbies. Some of you basically know what you're doing. Some of you asking what social media is again. Don't worry, you're not alone. Not uncommon. So, okay, great. That gives me a better idea of how we want to basically conduct the webinar moving forward. So let's jump into it. So let's start off first with what exactly is social media. So basically, social media just refers to interacting with other people by sharing and receiving information using the internet. Some of the benefits of social media is that really everyone is on social media. When you think about it, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, or especially maybe 10 years ago, you might have some people say that this is something that is only relevant to millennials, and they might have been right at that time. But now, literally, especially if you think about like Facebook, everybody's on Facebook. Grandparents, parents, kids, millennials, you baby boomers, you name it, everyone's there. Another benefit is that it's free, so you don't have to pay to open, say, like a professional Facebook page or a Twitter account. It does take time, so there is a quote-unquote cost associated with it, but it's not a situation where you have to pay for these platforms. So that's definitely a big benefit. And we're going to speak to the differences between a personal and professional Facebook page, and why, if you haven't already, you want to get one set up. And there's a lot of reasons behind it. They're very easy to get set up. So again, we'll go into detail there about that. And so why is it that you want to be active on social media? So I think most of us know the answer to that, but just to recap, it really is a very, very powerful and especially nowadays necessary way to establish a strong online presence. And your online presence has a lot to do with your referral rates as well. So I'm going to speak to the benefits of social media marketing from a referral standpoint shortly. But it's a great way to present yourself as an expert and really start building relationships with future clients, and then maintaining relationships with past clients to help ensure or increase the odds that they actually use you when they're ready to transact again. And again, it can be fun. So, a lot of reasons to be active. And when you think of it from a goal standpoint of what you want to accomplish with social media marketing, you really want to build an online audience and start creating and maintaining relationships with people online. You want to leverage it to enhance your online marketing and listing tools. So going into a listing presentation, being able to say on top of everything else, I'm spotlighting your properties on social media, and it does help differentiate you from a lot of your competitors. It's a great way to connect with other local businesses and communities, and obviously potential clients. And really, it's developing your online personality and recognition, which really comes into play when it comes to your referral business. So again, I kind of hinted to this a couple slides ago. You have to think about this from a standpoint of one of your past clients referring you to a friend or family member, or someone seeing your yard sign, or someone even meeting you at the supermarket or at an event and they get your business card. There's a very good chance that you're not the only realtor that they were introduced to. And there's also a very good chance that when they get a minute, they're going to Google you and see what you're all about, as well as these other agents that they've been introduced to. And it's very common that the realtor that has the most professional presence online is the realtor that they pick up the phone and call. We had quite a few top producing agents come into my office here and present to my team. We're in Southern California, and there was consistent stories about losing out on listing presentations, even to brand new agents, and the realtors had the guts to actually call the homeowner and ask why it is that they lost out on that listing presentation. And the consistent feedback was, look, you both did great on your listing presentation, but when we Googled you both after the fact, we liked what we saw with this other agent a little better. And so this is a situation, there was two different stories that I was told where a very tenured, successful agent lost out on a listing presentation to a brand new agent because that brand new agent had a very strong online presence. So there's a lot of benefits of having a strong online presence and social media presence specifically, aside from just keeping in contact with your past clients. It's really creating that professional online presence and creating that very powerful and impressive first impression when Google. So something to think about. Okay, so here are the top 6 platforms that agents typically don't utilize, but really should. And what you'll see probably right out of the gates is that I don't have Instagram listed here. Now, if you're using Instagram, great, keep using it. Nothing wrong with that at all. The reason why it's not one of the top 6 that I'm suggesting that you focus your energy on is because Instagram, being photo-based, doesn't have as much search engine optimization value or benefit as these other platforms can bring to you. And SEO value is very, very important, or should be very important to you as a realtor, because it basically equates to how easily you can be found online. So if you're using Instagram, great, keep using it. But these are the 6 that you need to make sure that you're capitalizing on at an absolute bare minimum. And we're going to go through each one at a time. And you want to make sure that when you're capitalizing on these other platforms, that they're all fully integrated into your website. You want to create a closed loop situation. So if someone finds your professional Facebook page, you want to make sure that any of the content that you're posting drives people back to your website, or that's very easy at a bare minimum for them to go back to your website. Likewise, if someone visits your website, you want to make sure that you have the links to all your social media accounts there as well, so that they can go to your Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter account straight from your website. So making sure that everything is fully integrated is imperative. So the platforms that we provide are fully integrated on top of being automated. I'll go into that more later. But even if you're doing something like this with a different vendor, just make sure that everything is tied together. It's very important. Okay, so the first topic that we're going to talk about here is blogging. So just out of curiosity, it's not really a poll or anything like that. I'm just curious how many of you are currently blogging today. You can just go ahead and type I am into the chat folder here. I'm just curious to see what percentage of you are currently blogging today. Okay, it's about as I expected, not too many of you. And again, you're not alone. So blogging is really, aside from your website, is really probably one of the most powerful things that you can do to create content, to present yourself as a professional, and to make yourself easily found or introduced to as many relevant consumers as possible. And when you think about a blog, really a blog is nothing more than an online newsletter. But it's just huge for establishing yourself as an expert. And again, that kind of ties into the next topic here of why blog. So if you think about yourself, if you've ever Googled something and you find an article that someone wrote, which is basically a blog on the topic, think about what your perception is of that person that wrote that article or that blog. And it's typically that your perception is going to be that they are the expert in the field. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken the time to blog. And so that's really the perception that you want to create. It's not that common at all that agents take the time to create blogs. And so it can be a huge differentiator for you. and really create that presence or that expectation of you being the expert in the field. And when it comes to what to blog, that's usually one of the main reasons why people aren't blogging, is they're not sure what to write. And content really is king when it comes to blogging, but it doesn't have to be overly complex. So it can be nothing more than mentioning a new listing that you just secured, or mentioning a property that you just sold. It can be hyper local information, like the fact that a new mall is opening up, or maybe there's a fair coming into the area. Any really real estate related information. And testimonials. Testimonials are absolute monsters for any content on any of these platforms. And the best type of testimonial is taking out your phone and doing a quick impromptu video testimonial. That is literally the absolute best thing that any of you can do. Pull out your phone, obviously asking your client's permission first. Right at the closing, hold your phone out in front of you, put it on that selfie camera, hit record. Quick impromptu thing about, hey, this great family, help them find the home of their dreams. Have them say a couple things about you. Stop, upload that to your YouTube channel, and then embed it into a blog. Monster. And when it comes to creating that expectation of you, or creating that first impression of you being an expert in your field, aside from the testimonials, when it comes to content, you can really just leverage your sphere of influence. Think about what's the most common real estate related questions your friends and family members ask you, or that you consistently get asked from clients or people that you're working with. You'll probably find that they're typically pretty general in nature, so it doesn't have to be overly complex. And so that's really one of the best sources to identify what to write about. But you just need to actually take the time and just start doing it, and it will have a big impact on your exposure online and how people view you as a realtor when they're finding these blogs, especially when they're uploaded to your website. And when it comes to options for creating blogs, some of the more common or popular ones are WordPress or Blogger.com or Elevate. Our Elevate platform, on top of automating blogging, also has a very intuitive blog builder to create your own organic content. You just want to make sure that whatever platform that you're using, that it's also uploading blogs onto your website as well. So you don't want the blog to just be this thing that's floating out there in space. You want to make sure that it's also uploaded on your website or linking to your website. And you want to make sure that you're active and consistent. So something that we very commonly see with clients that we're working with and setting up our automated platforms is that they set up a blog a year or two ago, and for a month or two, they were really consistent at blogging, and then life just got in the way. Now, the issue with that is it can create the perception that you might have since retired and you're no longer doing real estate because you haven't blogged about it, if they do end up finding your blog. But you don't need to overdo it either. So literally, if you can just make time to have one blog a week, that's really the perfect scenario. And Google, especially if you're uploading these blogs to your website, Google looks to see that websites are uploading fresh content to their at least once a week to get the really high search engine optimization value of. It's basically turning it into what's called a dynamic website. So you don't have to do it every day. If you just do it once a week, the content can be very basic in nature. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to making sure that you actually do it. Everyone, I think, on this call probably knows the importance of blogging. They've probably heard it a million times before. It might just be that they're not sure what to blog about or where to blog from. So again, you have some options here. It's just a matter of making sure that you actually just do it. And when it comes to guidelines, you want to be minimally about 3 paragraphs. They can be 3 very short paragraphs, but you don't want to write a novel either. If you write too much content, then you're going to lose people's interest. And if the blog is you have a video embedded into the blog, then really you don't need to write much of anything. You want to write whatever the headline is and maybe a line or two of what the video is, but let the video do the talking for you. But if it is more of a content-based blog with maybe just a couple pictures, then you want anywhere from 3 to 6 paragraphs. Somewhere in there is kind of the sweet spot. Again, not too long because you're going to lose their interest. And if anything, that if there's anything that you really want to kind of take a extra minute or two to think about, it's really the title. So, the title can be the trigger that gets people to actually click on it. And I'll give you an example here. So you could have a title about childproofing your home, and it could be, the title could be How to Childproof Your Home. Or for the same exact content, it could be How to Childproof Your Home, Don't Make These 3 Common Mistakes. And so that second title is more engaging, because if I'm someone that feels like I've already childproofed my home and I see that title of How to Childproof Your Home, it's not relevant to me. But if I'm in that exact scenario and I see a subject or a title of Don't Make These 3 Common Mistakes, I might be much more likely to click into that blog and see if I made one of those common mistakes. So that's something you can put a little bit more thought into, but again, don't overthink it, and don't let that be the hurdle that keeps you from blogging, right? So it's again, have an engaging title, but don't let that be the reason why you don't blog, because you can't think of something really creative on the title. And again, quality over quantity. So you're much better off blogging once a week about topics that are relevant. And again, relevant topics aside from listing activity or market conditions or hyper local information, like maybe a fair coming into town or a carnival or parade, can be information that, again, you leverage your sphere of influence to source out of what are those most common questions, and write 3 to 5 paragraphs about that and publish it. That's it. It's very quick, very simple. But that's much better than trying to blog every single day and you start running out of ideas really quickly. And then now you're just still blogging every day, but it's about stuff that's not that relevant. That can actually be detrimental. And you want to make sure that you do have lead capture in place. So if someone has found your blog, you want to make sure that they have a way to continue following it or sharing it to their social media or filling out their contact information so that you can capture it as well. So lead capture is important, and then making sure that you're basically posting it on all your social media. So if you're taking the time to do a blog, share it to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your LinkedIn, and obviously your website, most importantly. And so if you don't have a platform like ours that does that for you automatically, there's usually options to kind of manually share this, but you don't have to duplicate content if you've already done it as a blog, and there's usually manual ways to share that with your social media. So that's our quick walkthrough on blogs. We're going to go into Facebook next. Now, if you have any more questions about blogging or basically anything that I talk about throughout this presentation, go ahead and enter it into the question section of the controller, and I'll get to it at the end. We'll do a quick question Q&A section, and I'll answer your question. So if there's something you're curious about, with blogging or any of these anything we're going to review, go ahead and type it into the chat, the questions section there, and I'll get to it at the end. Okay, so let's jump into Facebook. So who already has a professional Facebook page? So let's go ahead and see. We're gonna go ahead and put out a quick poll here. Let's see how many of you currently have a professional Facebook page. Okay, it's about as I expected. Some of you do. It's around about 50-50 actually, which well, maybe a little bit more than half don't have or do have a professional Facebook page. And if you see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my other screen here that shows me all the poll stats here. So there's a lot of benefits to having a professional Facebook page, and it is very, very easy to set one up. So let's go through a couple basic stats about Facebook. So over 2 billion users, 70% of which are logging in at least 10 times a day. I know I'm absolutely guilty of way more than that myself. And it's interesting that 80% of the users are using Facebook to connect with brands or businesses within Facebook. So obviously, real estate being a business, it's very, very common, and it's becoming more common as time goes on that people are going to search for you on Facebook to see what kind of social media that you're leveraging. So let's talk about the differences between a personal and professional Facebook page, and why you want to leverage each one. So Facebook technically doesn't want you, or doesn't allow you, to advertise your business from your personal Facebook page. So we've run into some agents that are using a personal Facebook page to leverage their business as well and advertise their productivity. And the problem is that if Facebook ever finds that, they'll actually put you in Facebook jail. They have very strict rules about that. They only want you promoting your business from a professional Facebook page. So that's really the main reason why you want to get a professional Facebook page. But the other benefits to having a professional Facebook page is that there's a lot more tracking involved and included. So there's a lot of reports that you can that you have access to see what kind of traffic. It's easier to get followers in most cases. And professional Facebook pages have a tremendous amount of SEO value. So if you have a realtor that has an active professional Facebook page, if someone Googles their name, there's a very good chance that their professional Facebook page is going to show up on the first page of Google there. And it's because professional Facebook pages have very, very high search engine optimization value. Someone doesn't have to be following you to see the content on a professional Facebook page. So since it is more of an open platform, that's what leads to a lot of the search engine optimization benefit. So it also is, Facebook just in general is a great way to have that top of mind marketing. So when you have your professional Facebook page and you're posting on a regular basis, and again, at a bare minimum, at least once a week, you don't have to overdo it, but at a bare minimum, you want to be posting at least once a week. And if you're diligent about asking your current clients to follow you, and they start following you and they're continuing to follow you after the transaction, it helps you create that top of mind awareness so that when they get to the point where they're ready to transact again, they remember who you are because they're seeing content posted from your professional Facebook page at least once a week. So it's a monster for creating top of mind awareness. It's a great way to gain a following too if you're really proactive in promoting your professional Facebook page. And I'm going to go into some details about that soon. But it's a great way to all of a sudden get a really large audience of people that are watching everything that you're posting. And hopefully you're posting activities like listing activity about new listings and price adjustments and selling listings on the buying and selling side, right? And so it's a great way to expose yourself to a built-in audience. And it's also a great way to drive traffic to your website. So if you have a lot of people following you on your professional Facebook page, you can make it very easy for them to get from there to your actual website, where hopefully they can search for real estate in a way that you can track them, like we have available on our platforms here. And then when it comes to promoting, you really want to promote this everywhere. So you get handles, they're called handles for your social media accounts. And so for me, it could be at Sean Price Realtor. It's little at symbol Sean Price Realtor might be my handle. And you can have, if it's available, the same handle for your Twitters and your LinkedIn and all your social media platforms. But all you need to do is put that handle on your business card, saying things like, don't forget to follow me on Facebook at Sean Price Realtor. Making sure it's on your yard signs, on your email signatures, basically anything that is going out to an audience from a marketing standpoint. You want to make sure you have your social media links on there. And anytime you're talking with someone, remind them, hey, if you don't mind, follow me on Facebook at Sean Price Realtor. And so that's a cheap way, free way to gain a following, you know, without having to pay a red cent, and it's just by proactively promoting it on anything that's going out from a marketing standpoint. And there's also options for doing things like boosting posts, which we've done webinars on in the past, and it's very easy to do boosted posts and target the relevant audience, but that is something that you actually have to pay for. We'll go into that a little bit more detail in just a second. And the other thing you want to think about too when it comes to your listings is making sure that you're creating what's called an optimized listing post. So here's an example of an optimized listing post in that it has some information about the property. It has a photo, but when clicked, you can see it's going to Peggy's website. So this is linked to, at the very bottom left, you'll see justcallepeggy.com. And so the benefit of an optimized post is, number one, it's driving people to your website, which is important. Once they're on your website, they can see the extra photos, all the information. And then from that point moving forward, hopefully, they have an option to continue searching. So if you're doing one of these listing posts and it catches someone's eye and it's maybe the catalyst that gets them to start thinking about buying and or selling, you want to make sure that once they see the information about that property, that they can very easily and quickly search for real estate in an area that is also controlled by you. So what's more common is people will upload, you know, all the photos from the MLS, or maybe 10 photos from the MLS, and do a write-up on a Facebook post. And when clicked, they can scroll through the photos. But now if that's the catalyst that piques their interest in and potentially buying or selling, and they don't have an easy way to go to a website and search from there, it's very common that they're just going to go to realtor.com or Zillow or Trulia and start searching there, where now they're introduced to all the agents. So if you pique someone's interest, you want to make sure and create that closed loop scenario where they're driven back to your website and can very easily transition from looking at this one listing to searching for more listings, all within a controlled environment that you're maintaining. So guidelines when it comes to posting. You want to be, you know, consistent, not constant, right? So I think we've all had one of those friends on Facebook where you know exactly what time they woke up, what they're having for breakfast, you know what time they were walking to their car, what song they're playing in the car. People like that, they just clog up my news feed. I unfollow them right away, or at a bare minimum hide their posts, which is kind of the cheater way of unfollowing someone. So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to give anyone any type of reason to not follow you. So you don't want to be posting really more than once a day at the most, maybe twice a day if it has to do with, you know, maybe you represented two properties or sold one property and listed one property on the same day. And so you have two different listings that are being posted on the same day. That's okay, but just don't overdo it. You want to make sure that at a bare minimum, you're posting at least once a week, but you also don't want to be overdoing it. The other thing that's really important is you really don't want to post anything that could be divisive on your professional Facebook page. So stay away from anything political, anything religious, really any type of controversial or divisive content that might offend someone, right? And I've had clients that say, look, I'm very religious and I'm proud of it. And I'll say, that's awesome. That's great. And that's what a personal Facebook page is for. So you can post as much religious content as you want to on your personal Facebook page and be proud of it. But when it comes to your professional Facebook page, you want to try and gain as many followers as physically possible. And even something as harmless that you might think is really harmless, but can be related to religion or politics, can end up offending someone, and that could end up being the reason why they stop following you. So you don't want to put any type of content that could offend someone or be contrary to someone's beliefs. So keep it all strictly real estate related. And that can also, again, be hyper-local content, right? Information that would be relevant to someone that's thinking about moving into that area. You want to make sure that you're interactive. You know, so social media really is a two-way street. So it is a situation where if someone likes one of your posts, go in and like one of theirs. If they leave a comment, reply to the comment. you know, and the more you interact with them, the more likely they are to keep interacting with you, and then potentially maybe even share some of these posts that you're doing with their friends and family, which is a great way to get free promotion. So it is a two-way street. If people start engaging with you, make sure you're engaging back, or you can even be proactive. Once someone starts following your professional Facebook page, go into their Facebook page and like some of their photos. That can be the catalyst to get them to come back and return the favor and start seeing some of the content that you're generating. And here's just a quick slide on Facebook boosting. We're not going to go too in depth with this because we have done webinars specific on Facebook boosting in the past, but boosting is a very inexpensive way to get your name out there. So you can have as little as, you know, a budget of as little as $5 a day that you're advertising with Facebook. And maybe you do it for one day, or maybe you invest $20 and you do it for 4 days, and you can get in front of tens of thousands of relevant consumers. And it really just starts with a post that you have on your professional Facebook page. And then you take that one and you start setting some criteria of the demographics of the type of person and geography of that you're trying to target. And it's very, very easy to do. And you can Google, you know, how to boost a post on Facebook and watch a couple videos. You'll see that Facebook has made it very easy to do. Now, Facebook advertising is a totally different animal. That's not something that I really recommend people do on their own unless they've had a lot of experience with it. But boosting is very, very simple, and it can be a great way to expose yourself and get more followers from a relevant audience. So again, any other questions about Facebook? Go ahead and put it into the question section there. We'll get to it at the end. Okay, now LinkedIn. LinkedIn is interesting here. Over 500 million users. What's interesting about LinkedIn is that the average income of all the LinkedIn profiles is around $75,000. So it has the highest average income of any social media platform out there. And it's probably one of the least common that agents leverage when advertising their accomplishments or their clients' listings. So LinkedIn is something that you really want to capitalize on, not only because of the average income of the users on LinkedIn, but also because it has very, very high SEO value. So you've probably experienced situations in the past where if you've Googled someone and all of a sudden you'll see that their LinkedIn comes up on the first page, and usually pretty high on the first page of Google. Even if they're not really active on their LinkedIn account, LinkedIn just inherently has a tremendous amount of SEO value. So it's one of the options that people are going to find when Googling you. So you want to make sure that when clicked, there's a lot of relevant content about the listings that you've been handling, or closings, or any accomplishments or awards. And again, then also the people that you're following and that are following you on LinkedIn, there's a very good chance that these are professionals that have money to actually afford to buy a home. So it's great to advertise that information in front of those people as well. And, you know, it's a great way also to set up a referral network. If you start following realtors outside of your area and you have one of your clients that's selling and moving into one of those areas, then you can set up a referral feed. And again, you know, same type of content that you're blogging about is the type of content that you want to be putting on LinkedIn as well. So, you know, here's a quick example of a realtor posting something about a top award that they got. So just making sure that you're top of mind with these people. And again, that if someone Googles you, finds your LinkedIn page, that when clicked and they're reading about you, there's a lot of information on there or posting that really creates that perception of you being a professional and someone that they want to start working with. Okay, so Twitter, moving along here. Twitter, the audience that's unique to Twitter is millennials. So there's a tremendous amount of overlap with most of these platforms, but there are some unique audiences in each of these platforms. There's a very good chance that someone has Facebook and nothing else. There's a very good chance that someone has LinkedIn and nothing else. Likewise, they could have a Twitter account and nothing else. So, but millennials tend to there tends to be a disproportionate amount of more millennials on Twitter than the other platforms, and millennials are fast becoming the next biggest group of home buyers. So, some of the stats I'm seeing is that, 36 to 38% of the transactions in a lot of these markets are already held by millennials, and it's growing every single year. So that's one of the primary benefits of having a Twitter account and sharing some of that content on your Twitter account, is that there's a good chance that you can start tapping into that millennial audience that, again, is going to be the next biggest group of buyers and coming up in the very near future. Like a professional Facebook page or LinkedIn, it's an open forum. It has very high SEO value, and then when it comes to the content, it's very consistent with the other platforms. Tweet about new listings that you have or listings that you've sold, testimonials that you have, the type of content that you're blogging about. That's those relevant questions or that you get asked on a consistent basis. And with Twitter, you want to make sure, a very common practice on Twitter is this whole thought process of follow for follow. So if you follow someone, it's very common that they're going to follow you back. So what that means is you can actually spend a little bit of time and proactively go out there and start following different businesses, different people, and there's a good chance that they'll follow you back. That's one great way, an easy way and free way to get more followers on Twitter. Is because of this consistent behavior of the follow for follow type of a scenario. And just like anything else, you want to make sure that it is connected back to your website's connected to it, and that you have lead capture. So if you're blogging, if you're uploading blogs into your Twitter account, that there's an option there for them to click into your website and we can capture their contact information. And here's just a couple examples. And what's interesting about Jeff is Jeff's an extremely successful realtor, but he's kind of old school. And he's one of the clients that we're automatically creating these posts on his Twitter account for him. We're tweeting on his behalf. And what's interesting is he doesn't know the first thing about Twitter. Didn't have a Twitter account before signing up with us. But since he has been, or we have been, I should say, consistently tweeting on his behalf, he's now at a point where he has almost 1,000, a little over 1,000 people following him. And a lot of these people are, liking and interacting and sharing these tweets, and he hasn't had to lift a finger. And it just kind of goes to show the power of Twitter and having content uploaded on a regular basis. And Jeff is also very good about making sure to have his Twitter handle at Jeff Stearman on all of his marketing pieces and on his business cards and email signatures. So without having to lift a finger other than putting his Twitter handle on his marketing pieces, he now has an audience of around 1,400 people, and it's probably surpassed that since I took this last screenshot back in February. But he didn't have to lift a finger, and now he has a built-in audience here. So again, kind of things to think about. Now, YouTube, really quick. Curious, who knows who owns YouTube? So let's see here. Just curious to see who of you out there know who owns YouTube. Okay, a couple of you got it right away. It's Google. So Google owns YouTube, and the benefit is that since Google owns YouTube, you get some extra brownie points when it comes to the SEO value of having an active YouTube account linked up to your website. And an active YouTube account on its own has high SEO value. But what's staggering is some of these stats here. So it's the second largest search engine in the world. And it's the third most visited website. So it is absolutely amazing the amount of traction and exposure that YouTube has. And what's interesting is millennials now watch more content on YouTube than they do on a more traditional cable provider. And when I first saw that stat quite a while ago, it started making me think about myself. So I didn't even realize it at the time, but I watch a tremendous amount of content on YouTube on a regular basis, and I didn't realize how much. And it's very common that I'll cast that videos from YouTube onto my TVs at home and be watching shows and things on YouTube on a very regular basis. So the exposure is to YouTube in itself is just staggering. And there's over 1 billion users uploading 300 hours of content every single minute, which is amazing. Great place to put listing virtual tours, even if it's just a impromptu walkthrough of a home that you're about to put into the MLS, right? Doing personal interview videos, video testimonials, huge, huge, huge. And a lot of agents are afraid to do video testimonials because they don't like how they look or sound on a video. You need to get over that. That's what you look like. That's what you sound like. Trust me. But these video testimonials are a monster for building credibility in you as a realtor, mostly because the overwhelming majority of realtors out there are not doing it. So you can, again, take your camera out with your clients, put it on the selfie camera, hit record, do a 10-second, 15-second quick impromptu video, hit stop, upload it to your YouTube channel. You can usually upload it to your YouTube channel in about 2 clicks from your phone. But that is a monster in regards to content, because then you can take those videos and embed them into social media posts and blogs. Great listing tool as well. So if you're doing consistently these impromptu walkthroughs, or if you're doing these interviews, or you're doing videos about the community, that's all stuff that you can leverage in listing presentations. And again, just like with anything else, you want to make sure that once you have that video on your YouTube channel, that you're sharing it everywhere. Uploading it into a blog that hopefully is uploading into your website, upload it onto all your social media posts, get that content out there. And here's an example of an optimized listing post or it's actually a listing video. So our platform, our Elevate platform, automatically creates a video for every new listing and embeds it into your YouTube channel, and then automatically takes that video and embeds it into a blog that goes out to social media as well. So even if you don't have a platform like ours that automates it, get the video on your YouTube channel and then share it with all your other platforms. It's a great way, and especially because Google, aside from the fact that Google owns YouTube, they also give you bonus points for any types of blogs or content that has videos embedded, because Google knows that a consumer is much more likely to watch a video than read an article. So you get extra points for that. Okay, websites here. So really quick, how many of you have your own personal website? So I don't mean a broker provided website. I mean, it's a website that you've purchased on your own. So just really quickly, let's go ahead and put that poll out there. How many of you have your own personal website? Okay. All right. It's about as I expected. So there's quite a few of you out there that I'm guessing are leveraging broker provided websites. And look, broker provided websites are great. If you're given one for, especially if it's free, if you're provided one free of charge, absolutely use it. But there is a benefit to having your own personal website, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, the broker provided websites are usually very, very templated, so your online presence looks exactly the same as all the other realtors in your office. But really the main benefit of having your own website is that it always goes with you. So if for any reason, at any point in the future, you decide to hang your license somewhere else, that broker provided website stays with the brokerage. It's actually going to get turned off. And even if you own the URL and you end up redirecting that URL or domain name to a new broker provided website, the new brokerage, you can still have a very high abandonment rate of people that might have your domain name bookmarked, and they click on it, and then all of a sudden they're going to a totally different website. It would be the equivalent of logging into Facebook and it looks absolutely nothing like Facebook the last time you logged in. Is that a comfortable experience or an uncomfortable experience? And I think we all know the answer there. So, and with your own personal website, you can usually customize in a way that makes it unique to you. So it kind of sets you apart. So broker provided websites are great, but the best case scenario is you have your own website. And usually those websites, like our platform, is fully integrated into a CRM, which is, not uncommon. And usually those broker provided websites are tied into a CRM that's owned by the brokers. So if you have your own, not only is the website going with you and saying constant, you might need to just upload the broker logo, but also your CRM is going with you. So there's no need to export everything out or worry about someone else maybe seeing the information and stealing something. Everything goes with you as you transition. So a lot of benefits to having your own personal website. It really is a central place to be found on the internet. You want to make sure that it's integrated with all your social media marketing, like I've mentioned quite a few times in the past, but you also need to make sure that your site is very highly mobile responsive. So, the 80% probably or more of the traffic of consumers going to your website are going to be from consumers visiting it from their cell phone. And I've seen many cases where clients have had a website that looks really visually stimulating when looking at it from a desktop. There might be embedded videos or scrolling photos in the background, lots of stuff moving, and it looks phenomenal when viewed from a desktop. But all of those scrolling videos or embedded videos or things that are moving around, that requires more bandwidth to load. And so when you're on your cell phone, it takes a lot longer for that website to upload or open up. And that can equate to very high abandonment rates. And then once it's even open, making sure that it's very easily navigated. And I'm going to put my contact information at the end of this webinar here. And if you're curious about the website that you have, about how mobile responsive it is, I can set up a quick call and show you how to use a Google audit. It's a tool that Google provides that will show you exactly how mobile responsive it actually scores your website. But it is imperative that your site is very, very highly mobile responsive. That's where most of the traffic's coming from. Static versus dynamic. So a dynamic website is a website that has content added to it on a regular basis. And dynamic websites get a lot of SEO value from Google and all the other search engines, knowing that it's not just the same content that someone's going to see every single time that they log in. It's going to have fresh information. It's going to be a positive experience for the consumers visiting it. So Google's going to promote it or give it SEO value. And to be clear on what content is, it's not uncommon for websites to have automated links that maybe show a client's active listings or sold listings, or it might feature properties on the website. That is not content that lives on the website. That's a link that's pulling those listings from somewhere else, from the MLS or something else. That content lives somewhere other than the website. What they're looking for is content that is uploaded to your website and lives on your website. So a great example of that is a blog. If you upload a blog onto your website and that blog stays on your website, that is content that is being added, or dynamic content. And if it's added at least once a week, you get a lot of SEO value of having that content added on a regular basis, which is why the automated blogging that we provide on our platform is done at a bare minimum once a week. So very, very important. Now, the flip side, if you have that static site where you're not adding new content on a regular basis, you can actually get penalized and pushed even further down on a search result. We already went over who has their own personal website and the benefits of that. So let's go over a quick recap here. When it comes to social media. And again, if you had any questions about websites or any of the other stuff, go ahead and type it in now. And when we get to the Q&A section in a couple minutes here, we'll go through it all. So social media marketing, creating and managing this online presence, it takes time, but it's worth it. So this is something that you absolutely have to commit a certain amount of your time every single week and consistently commit to making that time every single week to add this content. If you do, you're going to see positive results, whether it's from increasing the amount of people that are following you and your audience, or it's increasing the odds of your past clients transacting with you again, or increasing your referral business, or close rate when it comes to listing presentations. There's a laundry list of benefits, but you need to take the time to commit to managing this. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but you do need to make sure you commit to making that time every single week. You need to be on multiple social media platforms. You can't say, well, if you had to pick one, which one would you do? Because again, each one of these platforms has a unique audience that you're going to miss out on if you're only picking one. If you're not on LinkedIn, there's a large percentage of people that only have LinkedIn accounts that don't have social media. But also LinkedIn has the wealthiest audience of any of the platforms. So you need to be on multiple, you need to be active and consistent, and you need to make sure that you're promoting. So again, anywhere, anything that you're mailing out or emailing out, or any yard signs or any type of marketing that you have out there, make sure that you have your handles for all your social media clearly promoted on all of them. And you know, it's not a bad idea to look into advertising on social media. And again, my suggestion would be looking into boosting, paying to boost a post from your professional Facebook page. It's a great way to get more followers and introduce yourself to a larger, more relevant audience by narrowing down the options that you have for promoting that post on Facebook. So again, it's basically, if you haven't already, it's only a matter of time that you get a client that's going to start asking questions about why you're not doing social media if you're not, or why you're not consistent. So if you're someone that just doesn't have the time to commit to this, or you're still uncomfortable about how to do it all, make sure it's fully integrated, we have an option to simplify it. So we have our digital marketing solution, which absolutely automates all of this for you. And it's automated to a point where once we get everything built to your liking, you could never log in again, and it works perfectly. And that's usually the best way to really drive home how automated our platform is. It's fully integrated. It's a website, all the social media, the blogging, everything's fully linked back and forth. Creating that closed loop scenario. Everything is done with SEO in mind. So we're capitalizing on basically every option out there to increase the SEO of not only your website, but also your social media platforms, right? So you might have really good SEO for your website, but if you don't have great SEO for all your social media as well, then really you're creating a lot more opportunities for those realtor.com and Zillow and Homes and Trulia profile pages to show up and introduce those people to other agents instead of you. So it's almost a blocking maneuver too, of having as much of your social media accounts come up on the first page of Google as possible. And we do that with all the optimization that we have built in. And the websites that we have are lightning fast when it looks at when talking about the load times. They're very, very mobile responsive. There's options for customizing them. And there's a lot of content that we can automatically post and create on the website for you. So again, it's one of those situations where it's totally optimized. You don't have to lift a finger. We make sure that we're checking all the boxes and maintaining it for you. The blogging content that we're doing, we're automatically creating blogs for all of your listing activities. So anytime you get a new listing, you have a price adjustment on that listing, or you sell a listing on the buying or selling side, we're partnered with your MLS. It automatically triggers a blog to be created about that, uploaded to your website. And that happens real time without you having to do anything. And then once a week, we also create real estate related content blogs for you. So that ensures that if you have a week or two where you don't have any listing activity, or maybe you're a brand new agent and you're not going to have listing activity for a while, at least once a week, we're adding these content blogs to your website, and we're doing it on the social media, obviously, as well. And you know, it's interesting. I use Mike as an example here because he's, again, one of these kind of old school guys, doesn't know the first thing about blogging, how to do it or what it means. But if someone were to Google Mike and find his website and go to his blog page, it looks like he is really, really active in blogging. And that's because all the blogs are branded by the agent and the agent alone. So it doesn't say created by or powered by Elevate. It just has the agent's name listed, and that's it. And it's also a great way to introduce yourself to consumers that otherwise might not have been introduced to you. So all these blogs are indexed on search engines, and indexed really just means analyzed. So if someone Googled something along the lines of how to avoid a home buying crisis, and they're in your area, and that was a blog that, or they're in Mike's area because that was a blog we created for Mike, there's a really good chance that Mike's blog would be one of the options on the first page of Google, and then when clicked, it's going to drive people right into his website. So a great way to get more exposure. And again, everything that we're doing on the blog, we're also automatically doing on all the social media on your behalf as well. So it literally is totally turnkey. You don't have to lift a finger. We build everything to your liking. And once it's up and running, you could literally never log in again, and it's going to work perfectly. And it's all tied into a full feature CRM. And if you already have a CRM that you're using and that you like, we can actually have our CRM set up to automatically send any new contacts that are created on our CRM to yours automatically. So if you have a CRM that you like using, we can set ours to automatically send the information to that CRM, and you can just keep using that one single CRM. But our CRM does have a tremendous amount of automation built in. We really did our homework on our CRM, and there's a lot of time savers. And so since it is included in the platform anyways, it's worth looking at, because on top of being able to cancel your other vendor, I think you'll see we'll be able to save you quite a bit of time. And, so now, when it comes to doing a listing presentation, being able to say, on top of everything else, you're blogging about their listing, that you're promoting it, you're posting it, you're tweeting about it. It really does create that competitive advantage for you. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to create a video for every new listing and post it on my YouTube channel and then promote that on my blog as well. So there's a lot that you can leverage just by having the digital marketing solution available. And we even have options for highly, highly targeted lead generation as well. So the beauty of our digital marketing solution is very agile in that you can add and features as needed. So for sake of example, the lead generation, we can do highly targeted lead generation, and it has a very, very high lead capture rate, very high return visitor rate of the people that are visiting the website, and a tremendous amount of automation, like automated property emails and automated monthly drip emails that we can introduce them to help incubate those leads and keep them engaged. And we could even take it a step further and actually scrub the leads on your behalf. We can actually engage with these leads and present ourselves as one of your assistants and find out if they've been pre-approved for a loan, what's their time frame, are they working with a realtor already? So there's a lot of automation even from the lead generation standpoint that we can provide. And we're very consistently getting very positive testimonials about our lead generation plugins with the digital marketing solution. And here's an example of someone that as soon as we got them set up, before we even finalized customizing their website, she got a lead that ended up closing right away. So we're really excited to have the lead generation platform available to offer as well on top of the digital marketing solution. And it really does create that scenario where we're basically like a virtual assistant. We're handling all your social media marketing, we're handling your blogging, we're optimizing your website. There's a lot of automation that we've built into the CRM to help simplify your business. And in regards to the training of how everything works. So again, the digital marketing solution, it's totally automated. You don't have to lift a finger. But if you want to start using the CRM, we got your back. We consistently get tremendous amounts of positive feedback about our support team and the training that they're providing. So it's something that we really, really take very seriously. And the latest scores that we're getting from our satisfaction score, you can see we're very pleased that we have a 98% satisfaction score. And that's not only they're satisfied with the products, but they're happy with the training and the support that they've been receiving for those products. So again, something that we take very, very seriously. So since you attended the webinar, there is a promotion. So for the digital marketing solution, so that is the website, that is the CRM, that is the automated social media marketing, the automated blogging. For that platform, it's normally $199 a month. So since you attended the webinar, it's actually only $150 a month. And instead of a $500 setup fee, we're dropping that setup fee down to $300. So it's about $1,000 savings right there alone. And we're also going to give you your second month free. So if you do get signed up, you'll get your second month free, and you're also going to get a 30-day money back guarantee. So I know that, you know, we just briefly talked about the digital marketing solution, and so I don't want you to have any concern of filling out that billing link that I just sent out there to capitalize on this promo. And to get this promo, you do have to fill out that billing link to get it, so that it is proof that you came to the webinar and it was initiated via the webinar. But there is a 30-day full money back guarantee, so that if it's not meeting your expectations or it was something different than what you initially thought, we're going to give you all your money back. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. And the first call that we're going to set up with you is a call where we're going to recap everything that is included in the platform, so we can really get in detail to go into the specifics of how we automate the social media marketing and the listing posts and the blogging and how the website's optimized and options for customizing that website, on top of obviously training on how to use the CRM if you don't already have a CRM that you're using. So again, no reason not to get set up. You can run it, have a test drive for a full 30 days. And if it's not meeting your expectations, we'll give you all your money back. Again, it is setting you up at $150 a month instead of $199, and a $300 setup fee instead of $500. You also get that second month free. The other thing that we're putting in here to help kind of get you kickstarted is we're also going to create a boosted post for you. So when we're creating this content, or if maybe there's a post that you've already done on your own, we're going to work with you in identifying which one of these posts on your professional Facebook page that you want to boost, and we're going to do a $50 budget on boosting this post out to a relevant audience on Facebook for you. And we'll help you configure all the different options for targeting that relevant audience, because this is something that we do all day, every day. So again, available today. If you get set up on the webinar, we'll also add that $50 boosted post into the equation there. So if you look at our digital marketing solution, just simply looking at it from a referral optimization standpoint alone. So if you end up getting just one more referral, because when Googled, you now have a very highly optimized and professional online presence. If you just get one more referral as a result of that, and let's assume that your home value is $3,000, your net commission is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000, depending on what kind of split that you have. Our platform's $1,800 for the year, so you're basically tripling your money just off of one more referral per year. But again, that's just a small percentage of the benefit, or a small factor in regards to all the benefits that the platform offers. And even looking at that $1,800 a month investment, just from the time savings alone for most people, is very worthwhile. And this really does fit into any type of realtor. So if you're a new realtor, you need a really strong online presence, because you don't have a name or a bunch of past clients that you can leverage. If you're an established agent, you're probably getting a lot of people being referred to you. And so you want to make sure you're really optimizing that referral rate by making sure you have your best foot forward in regards to what people are seeing online when they Google you. Obviously, if you're busy, whether you're a listing or buying specialist, we automatically create the listing post for both of those. So it really does fit anyone's needs. And again, fill out that order form. We can get you set up. We'll set up a call also to walk you through the entire platform. And if for any reason at all within the first 30 days, it's not something that's going to work for you, it's not meeting your expectations, we'll give you all your money back, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. And here's our handle. Our handle is at TryElevateRE. So you want to make sure and follow us as well, because we'll advertise upcoming webinars on our social media. Once you're a client of ours, we'll also advertise upgrades. So we're constantly adding cool new features to our platform. And this is one of the many ways that we let our clients know of these new exciting new features that you have available. So make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, obviously on our website. We actually are on Instagram as well, at TryElevateRE. So, okay, let's go to the Q&A section here. So we got quite a few questions that came in. Well, a couple quick questions about the platform time commitment. So the first 30 days, it's a money back guarantee. So there's obviously no time commitment on the platform at that point. And then it's basically a 90-day contract at that point moving forward. So it's not a 12-month contract. We obviously want you to stay up and running with us as long as possible, but you don't have to worry about being locked into something if for some reason you're finding out it's not fitting your needs. But we have a very, very high retention rate on this platform. One of the highest that I've seen and since I've been in this industry. So within that first 30 days, you're going to have a very clear idea of what it is that we can do for you and how it works. And again, if for some reason it's not going to meet your needs, we'll give you your money back. But even if it does, after that, it's a 90-day contract at that point. So that was a quick question that just came in on the Q&A section that was about the digital marketing solution. Okay, so here's a pretty common question. Should you post the same information on Facebook and blog? So yeah, you really do want to be consistent. And again, if you're going to take the time to manually create this content, I would start at the blog. I would create this content in a blog and then share that blog with all your other social media platforms. You don't want to talk about something just on one of the platforms that you're not also talking about or leveraging on the others, because again, each platform does have a unique audience. So if you're taking the time to create a blog or create content, you want to make sure you're capitalizing on all the audiences that you have available to you. And so, yes, any content that you do as a blog, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Twitter, on your LinkedIn, just copy that content onto all the platforms that you have available. Another quick question about the content that we actually create for you automatically in these blogs and stuff. It's asking, is the content the same for all the Elevate clients? And the answer is no. We actually have logic built in that sets up these very large geographic boundaries where no agent within a couple hundred miles of each other is going to have the same content being posted at the same time even. So we do have logic in place to make sure that the content that we're creating is geographically relevant to you in this blogs that we're automatically doing. Another common question that's coming up here is it a negative or is it a bad thing to have multiple websites? And the answer is no, absolutely not. And the most common scenario where I think this might be coming from is it's very common that people have their own personal website that they've purchased and manage on their own, and a broker provided website, both active and running at the same time. Nothing wrong with that. Couple things that you would want to do to kind of optimize that type of scenario. So the more options that you have for people to find you, the better. You just want to make sure that they're tied into the platforms that you're active with. So for sake of example, it's very common on a broker provided website, which is really nothing more than just a page on the broker website, that you can put a link to visit my website. where they can go from your broker provided website to your own personal website. So make sure if that's a case that you're capitalizing on it. If not, ask if that's an option that you can include maybe in your contact information. You just want to make sure that if someone does find your broker provided website, that it's very easy for them to click into your personal website where you're doing all this blogging, hopefully, and it's linked up to all your social media. So yeah, not a bad thing if you have multiple websites at all. But again, just make sure that all of them are linking to your primary website where you're doing most of your blogging and content. Okay, so if you had to pick just one platform, which one would it be for social media marketing? Okay, this is a super, super common question. And really the answer is you can't just pick one because each platform offers a unique audience. So there's a lot of benefits to being on multiple, at least covering these 6 platforms that we reviewed today because of the differences in the audiences. Now, if someone, was forcing me to say, which one to pick, just one, obviously it's going to be Facebook. It's got the largest audience, but there's a lot of people that have LinkedIn accounts that don't have Facebook. There's a lot of people that have Twitter accounts that don't have Facebook. So you're really missing out on a large subset of your relevant audience by only picking Facebook to advertise on, especially since it doesn't take that much work to share that content. Really what takes the most amount of time or work is creating the content and making sure to create it on a weekly basis at a bare minimum. Once you've taken the time to create it, it's usually very easy to share that content on multiple platforms. So if you've already created the content, share it on all the platforms. If you're up and running with our digital marketing solution, we do all of that for you. So not a problem at all. Okay, how do you find out if your current website is mobile responsive? Okay, so you see my contact information here on the screen. So do me a favor and shoot me an email or give me a call or send me a text and we can set up a quick call and I can show you how to use the Google audit to run a performance report on your website from a mobile view standpoint. And again, this is really, really important because 80% or more of your traffic to your website is coming from people on their cell phones. So you want to make sure that we're not giving them any reason at all to abandon your website, meaning whether it's because it's loading slowly or it's hard to navigate once they're actually in the website. So yeah, reach out to me. Also, if you're interested in adding leads to your digital marketing solution, the highly targeted lead generation and the automated incubation and follow-up of those leads, also give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. We'll set up a quick call and I'll do a separate quick presentation on how that looks and how it works. But again, that digital marketing solution, if that sounds like it might be advantageous for you, sign up so I can just lock you in at this lowest price point. We'll set up a call to walk through the entire platform in its entirety. And if at any point during that or within the next 30 days, it's not what you expected it to be, we'll give you all your money back. Okay, so how do you upload blogs to your website? Okay, that totally depends on the website that you have. The website that you have needs to have that as an option. There needs to be some sort of a blog option within the website that you're currently using. And if not, you might want to look into some other vendors. So again, even if you don't use ours where we're automating it and we have a blog builder that makes it very, very easy and simple to create organic blogs on your own, if you're using any other vendor, just make sure that they have an option, a blog option on the website, because blogging is, again, probably one of the most important things to do. And if your website currently, like it's not uncommon for these broker provided websites to not have a blog option. So yet another reason to get a website of your own above and beyond what the broker is providing you. But it just really depends on your vendor. So unfortunately, I wish I could tell you, here's how you do it. I know how we do it on ours. It's very simple, but I can't tell you how to do it on yours. So you're going to have to, if it's a broker provided, reach out to your broker or your customer support contact within your broker when it comes to your website. If it's with a vendor other than ours, reach out to them and ask them if they have that type of provision. And if not, look for another vendor that does, because again, blogging is one of the most important things that you can be doing here. Okay. So here's what we're going to do is I want to be respectful of everyone's time here. So I am going to do a random drawing here for the tablet. So I got a program here. I'm going to hit a button and it's going to jumble up all the names of the people that are currently here. It's going to spit out one in just a second. Also, we'll make sure to email out a copy of this webinar to all of you so you can watch it as a video at any time. I'll keep this billing link open for a couple minutes after we end the webinar. But again, it is set up in a way where you have absolutely nothing to lose, but that is the only option I can give you, that second month free, the discounted monthly billing, discounted setup fee, and obviously that $50 boosted post, which is really going to help you gain some exposure there. Okay, here we go. So we got David Boyd is the winner of the Amazon Fire tablet. So congratulations, David. Do me a favor and send me a message in the chat box. I have it set to private now, so it's only going to go to me. Send me a message with your phone number so I can give you a call. I need to get your address so we can get that shipped out to you. So David Boyd, congratulations. To the rest of you, thank you all very much for taking the time to attend my webinar here today. Again, I'll keep that billing link open for a couple minutes. If you have questions or want to see how mobile responsive your website is, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. If you have interest in the lead generation and incubation that we have, same thing. Give me a call, shoot me an email, send me a text. All my contact information is right there. And again, can't thank you enough for taking the time to hang out with us today during our social media workshop webinar. And I really look forward to hearing from some of you in the future here. Have a very productive and safe rest of your month. And we look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye now.